Hey guys, this is Kirsten Zaki, and this is my second video blog, and this is about how I teach digital citizenship in my middle school FACS classroom. And FACS is the new term for home ec, so it is a home ec classroom. We do a lot of cooking and stuff too, but I did talk about digital citizenship this year, and it's something that I plan to continue doing. The ISTE standard that this covers is Standard 5, which is completely talking about digital citizenship. As a coach, we need to model and promote strategies for achieving equitable access to digital tools and resources and technology-related best practices for all students and teachers. We need to model and facilitate safe, healthy, legal, and ethical uses of digital information and technologies. And we need to model and promote diversity, cultural understanding, and global awareness by using digital age communication and collaboration tools to interact locally and globally with students, peers, parents, and the larger community. The program that I've been using for this is Everfi, which can be found at everfi.com. And the reason I chose Everfi, I actually had a representative from Everfi come out to the school, and he talked to me during my plan period, told me what Everfi is about, how they're funded, how it works, and gave me a really brief tutorial on how I can use it in my classroom. And the main reason that I chose to use Everfi and have continued to use Everfi is because it's free, and it's a really good program for being free. It's funded by the government and by a couple of different private institutes, so it will continue to be free is what my understanding of it is. The ease of use, and that's not only for me but also for the students. Some of these programs that we use with technology, they might be super easy for the kids to use, or they might be really easy for a teacher to use, but a lot of times they're not easy for both. But Everfi is really easy to manage my student accounts, to find their information, and also for the students to use. It reads to them, so my students with special needs, they don't have to have a para next to them the whole time, so they feel like they're more included with the class. And it is very interactive. It has lots of games for the students to play, and they get to click through everything, and it's just a really interactive program that I really like. The specific curriculum that I use off of Everfi, they have several that I'll talk about here in a little bit, but the specific one that I use is called Ignition, and you can see on the screen the target audience is 6th through 9th grade, and I teach 7th and 8th grade FACS, so this is what I have used it for. And the different topics that are covered, they're listed on the left side there: digital footprint, secure identity, cyberbullying, good texting practices, conducting online research, digital time management, creating multimedia products, and careers in technology. And I think those are just a very general overview of a lot of digital citizenship issues that might come up with my students. So I really like the vast topics that are covered in this program. The time, it says it takes 4 hours, which includes the simulations. The simulations are the little games at the end. I've found that my students take longer. The problem that I have is I only have my students for 25 minutes a day. So by the time they get a computer, get logged in, get connected to the internet, and then start working on their module for that day, sometimes they don't finish by the end of the 25 minutes, and then they have to restart some of that. It doesn't take them all the way back to the beginning, but they can click through what they've already done. It has taken us almost 2 weeks to get this done, so 10 days. But again, I only have my students for 20 to 25 minutes per class, so I would say that 4 to 5 hours is probably closer to reality there. And then the standards, this is directly off of the Everfi website, and it states right on it that it follows the ISTE and the NETS standards, which I thought was pretty interesting. Creating students' accounts. From the teacher aspect, it's really easy. My students can log in. They don't have to have an email, which is nice because at my school we do not give students a school-issued email address. And I don't really want them using a home one. There are some other things that I have my students create a Google email account for, but we don't have to attach it to this, which is again, really nice. And as the teacher, I have access to all of my students' usernames, and I can also reset their password. I don't have access to their password, but when they forget it, because they are middle school students, when they forget it, I do have access to their username, and I just reset their password to 123456, and then I instruct them to go ahead and change their password once they get access into the class again. As soon as you set up a class, and you can do this for any of the different curriculum that EverFi has, you're given a class code, and then you just give that class code to your students when they set up their account, and they have access right away. It's super easy. We don't have to wait for an email to come and then do all the verification stuff there. As soon as they have that class code and as soon as they create an account, they have access to the class and can get started working on it. And I like that I can set it up for each of my classes. So I have my A elective, B elective, C, and D electives as all different classes. And that makes it a lot easier for me to grade. I don't have to have all of my students and then they're alphabetized, and I don't have to figure out which elective they're in. They're just already separated for me. So I really like that. Managing student progress, again, it's very interactive. It reads to them. I have my students bring headphones to class. They plug their headphones in, listen to the simulations at their own pace. If they don't understand it, they can go back and play it again. And if they do understand it, they can just move through it fairly quickly. They play a game for each level, which again is just reinforcing that information that they've just learned. Before they start each level, they take a pre-quiz, and from my understanding of EverFi, it bases their actual progress through that level on their pre-quiz. So if they already know a couple of things, it'll skip them through that more quickly than if they have no idea and got every single question wrong. Then it'll take more time for them to get through that, which I think is great. I love differentiation, and this is exactly what that is doing there. At the end, they take a post-quiz, and I think they're the same questions that they take on the pre-quiz, and they have to pass with a 70% or better on each of the different modules. Ignition has 7 different modules, and then they're given a percentage. I put that percentage into the grade book, and then at the very end, as long as they've passed all 7 modules, then they get a certificate of completion, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. This is one of my students that I have in class right now, and you can see the time that he was certified was just a couple of days ago. And you can see that it has the scores here for each time he took the post-test. So some of them, choosing a computer, he didn't pass any of them on the first try, which makes me assume that he didn't actually listen to him. He just tried to rush through it right away and see if he could get done so he could do other things. But some of them, choosing a computer, the viral world, creating multimedia products, and digital relationships and respect in the future of technology and you, he passed on the second time. Wireless communication and internet resources and credibility, he had to take several attempts on that, so I know that he kind of struggles in that area, but he did jump from 40, 20, 30 to 100% on his quiz there. So again, I'm kind of wondering if he just didn't put forth a full effort. But I can see all of this. They can take the quiz as many times as they need to in order to get that 70%, and I do put the passing grade in the grade book. And then I make all of my students be certified before we continue on. Again, once they pass all of those modules, they get a certificate, and this says certificate hereby confirms that Chris has earned his badge of completion on September 9th of this year, and that's something that I will print out for the students, and it just kind of makes them feel good about themselves that they did actually accomplish something. So I really do like that. Some of the other things that EverFi has to offer, the digital citizenship and responsibility is the ignition that I used. And I have also used the financial literacy education for my high school FACS class, but some of the other ones, they have Radius, which is a math-based interactive site, obviously talking about radius of a circle, but it does have other math concepts in there. And then they have several social studies. They have the entrepreneurial, they have African American history, and digital town square, and then for younger grades they have understanding money as well, and then for freshmen they also have alcohol prevention education. And again, these are all free. They're all very easy to use, and they're all through everfi.com. And that's it. But I really encourage you to use everfi.com if any of these pertain to you, or if you are trying to find something for the middle school age kids to learn digital citizenship. My students were actually really impressed with how much they got out of it, which is pretty impressive for middle school students to actually be able to admit that. So I really liked the program. I thought it was great, and I hope you guys learned something from this. Thanks.